global soccer community is in pain. Find out why later in the show.
Plus, we will have the latest on the construction of the Dakota Pipeline access.
And we had a Western Conference matchup playoff preview between the Rockets and the Warriors. Highlights of this nail-biter later in our show.
Finally, will the cold weather last? Find out later in our weekend forecast. Newscene starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Newscene. I'm Nick Tabor.
And I'm Brooke Slyer. Colombian authorities are preparing to transport the dozens of bodies of the victims from the tragic plane crash earlier this week. Newscene reporter David Pradell is here with the latest developments about the air tragedy that was carrying a popular Brazilian football team. David?
Thank you, Brooke. Yes, a very sad story out of Colombia. As a nation and the global soccer community mourns, new reports have come out stating that the Bolivian charter flight that crashed into the Andes Mountains did not have enough fuel to meet regulations. Bolivian authorities have now suspended their license of their charter airline, La Mia. The airline only had 3 charter flights, 2 were being repaired, and the only one in use was Flight 2933 that crashed around 10 p.m. just outside the city of Medellin, killing 71 people.
The important thing here, seeing that there might be survivors, is saving lives. That's first and foremost. So we're here supporting them on this very, very sad story. They have our solidarity. So do their families, their friends, their countries. It's sad and regretful.
The flight was mostly carrying members of the Chapecoense football team. Miraculously, 6 people survived, 3 players, 2 crew members, and a journalist. This unexpected tragedy has left the city of Chopeco heartbroken. For the players who did not get the call to go with the team, they are left wondering why.
I don't know why he didn't want to take me. That was in his head and it was my destiny. I have this dual feeling of being alive today, but deep in my heart, what if I had gone?
The Chapecoense football team were leaving Bolivia to go compete in the final of the Copa Sudamericana. The team was expected to play this past Wednesday against Atlético Nacional, but with the tragic news, officials have canceled all soccer events as fans are left mourning the loss of the players. The funeral of the players, coaches, and members will take place later this weekend in the city of Chapeco. Back to you, Nick, at the desk.
Thank you for that story, David. Since 2014, Venezuela's inflation rate has risen on a monthly average of 8.7 per month. In November alone, the value of the bolivar dropped a whopping 55%. Experts say the plummeting global oil prices are the main culprit. Some shoe shopkeepers have resorted to counting the currency with a scale. The vast number of bills have become too overwhelming to count for small sales. Fidel Castro Ruz, the former communist leader of Cuba, died last week. Newscene's Jackson Wilson has the story.
A country is in mourning after Fidel Castro, the former leader of Cuba, died last Friday night at the age of 90. Thousands wait in line for hours to pay respects to their fallen commander-in-chief. Castro's body was cremated on Wednesday, and his ashes are currently en route to Santiago de Cuba, where his funeral will be held on Sunday. His ashes are being taken along the reverse route that Castro took when he originally seized power in 1959. While the streets of Havana are filled with sorrow and mourning, the streets in Little Havana are a completely different story. Thousands of Cuban exiles crowded the streets of the Miami neighborhood in celebration of the death of their former dictator. People waved Cuban flags, popped champagne, and gathered together with joy and hopes of a bright new future for Cuba. Daniel Mira, the co-owner of Andres Cuban restaurant near Mission Bay, spoke about his reaction to the death of Castro.
It's hard to rejoice over somebody who's passed away, but in his case, I think most Cubans, like myself, are rejoicing because of all the misery and hardship he brought to the people of the island.
The next question on everyone's mind is what will happen next with Cuba. Many see the death of Castro as a chance for a fresh start and hopefully some much-needed improvements to the country.
What we want is our family that's in Cuba to live a little better life.
Jackson Wilson, Newscene.
Cuba has been under Castro's rule for almost 60 years. The whole world is anxious to see what's next for this country.
The Ohio State campus was victim of attack this week. The attack was carried out by Abdul Artan, a Somali citizen who had recently transferred to Ohio State from a local community college. Police say the attack began when the 18-year-old assailant jumped the curb in a silver sedan and then slammed the vehicle into a group of pedestrians. He proceeded to exit the car and then began slashing pedestrians on the Ohio State campus. Within minutes of the attack, he was confronted by a police officer.
He engaged the suspect and he eliminated the threat. The suspect is DOA.
The vehicle was registered to Abdul's family members. 11 were hospitalized during the campus attack. The only reported death was the slasher.
From President-elect Donald Trump's pick on cabinet members, a calling to recount in a few states, and talking about bringing the nation together. Politics is as muddy as ever. Sandro Horaes is here to tell us what is going on in politics this week.
While fresh from a break celebrating his win, President-elect Donald Trump started his thank you tour yesterday. With the spotlight now broadening, the race to fill his cabinet is on. Some have been appointed, while some names are still in the air. Many are in disagreement with Trump's picks so far. Many state that some of his staff is too far right, while others state that they're part of a corrupting system.
With America's wealthiest elites. His nominees to the cabinet are millionaires and billionaires who are part of the very establishment that Donald Trump campaigned against.
In another front, Jill Stein pushed efforts to have a recount in 3 states with the Clintons' campaign support and raised roughly $7 million.
Human error, just mistakes in the way that these optical scanners, they can't always read if someone has checked off and clarified their intent. A human being would say, this was the vote that they intended.
Trump states that he will bring the divided nation together and to push back from one side versus the other.
We are going to need our government and this movement to be more engaged and more vigilant than ever before to help us accomplish the reforms and overcome decades of stalemate and gridlock. We're going to get it done, folks.
For Newscene, I'm Sandro Juarez.
Trump has saved about 1,000 jobs from leaving the U.S. this week. All we can hope for is that he gets America to a better place and to heal the divided nation.
After months of protesting against the construction of the Dakota Access Oil Pipeline, state officials have set a deadline for activists to leave the land. However, the effort to defend the ancient Native American lands is gaining more support. Newscene reporter Samantha Cervantes has more.
More than 2,000 veterans will be going to the Standing Rock Sioux Reservation in North Dakota to act as human shields to protect protesters. This effort by the veterans comes in response to the Army Corps of Engineers' deadline to have activists leave the land by December 5th. The Veterans Stand for Standing Rock mission is to provide supplies for the protesters. So far, their GoFundMe campaign has nearly reached their $1 million goal. Over the past few weeks, protesters have clashed with law enforcement. Police have hosed down activists in below freezing temperatures. State officials say after December 5th, they will block supplies and are threatening to impose fines on protesters camping on the land.
We responded by saying that is an act of war, that is genocide.
Here at City College, students have their own opinion about the nationwide effort to protect Standing Rock.
I think the outcome is not going to really be worth it after all. Even after all what politicians are going through, people are still going to get a negative effect out of it.
It's a place that should be respected, but because of people's impurities within their heart, they can't respect that, they can't see that. So they usually see things, from what I've noticed, and probably in this case, they see things in a selfish way of, oh, we need this done, and you're in the way, so I'm going to get you out of the way, right?
If the $3.78 billion...
The Dakota Access Oil Pipeline had a completion date set for January 1st, 2017. However, according to the Dakota Access Vice President, Joy Mohammed, if no progress has been made by the end of the year, their 2-year construction contract with investors could expire. Transportation workers here in San Diego joined a national strike for a minimum wage increase.
And how about those Cowboys? Can they keep their win streak alive against the Vikings last night? We will have the results later in sports.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. At work or at play, you're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Oh, hey, she's cute. Nice going, man. Things are going great for you. You've earned a night out. Good drinks, good friends. Yeah, we can go ahead and call this a good night. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Not smart. Yeah, I saw that coming. Say goodbye to her. Ouch. That'll hurt your bank account. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. I hope you like eating frozen dinners. Alone. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Earlier this week, dozens of workers gathered in front of Lindbergh Field to join the national effort for minimum wage increase. Airport officials warned passengers to arrive early in case there were any disruptions. Luz Dele Cabarello has more.
Protesters in San Diego joined others in New York, Boston, Los Angeles, and Chicago as workers took part in a national day of action to fight for a minimum wage increase. The Fight for 15 protests took part in more than 300 cities here in the U.S. Demonstrations were held at 20 major airports, one being San Diego.
There are record profits that the airline industry has made, billions and billions of dollars, and they ought to really share some of that with the workers who make their airlines fly every day.
Employees, including baggage handlers, cabin cleaners, and wheelchair attendants, all walked off the job.
Workers are not standing silent.
These workers were also joined later that night at the march by Uber drivers and elected officials. They idled their cars and marched with other industry workers as part of the combined effort, pushing for a $15 minimum wage. Uber says drivers in its top 20 markets average more than $19 an hour. But drivers complain of aggressive fare cuts and no accounting for expenses like gas, repairs, and insurance. While protests were largely peaceful, there were reports of arrest across the country. Luz Delia Caballero, Newscene.
The Fight for 15 movement has been going on since 2012. Since then, a $15 minimum wage has been approved in New York, California, and Washington.
A couple from Memphis gets attention for a completely wrong reason, but are now coming out about their tale. Roland and Carla Ayers, both in their 60s, were filmed and had it posted to Facebook as they overdosed on heroin. The Ayers couple owe their lives to first responders who use the drug Narcan, which can reverse opioid overdoses. Although it's a low moment for the couple, they believe the embarrassment was a wake-up call to get clean. Use of the drug Narcan, which counteracts the effects of heroin, has been on the rise in San Diego these past few years. Narcan is a life-saving drug administered by paramedics to people overdosing on heroin. Use of the drug in San Diego has gone up from around 350 in 2012 to well over 1,300 last year. Until recently, Narcan was only carried by paramedics. Now the drug is carried by law enforcement, first responders, and can be bought by everyday citizens.
The former NFL safety and five-time Pro Bowler Darren Sharper was handed his final sentencing on Tuesday. Sharper received an 18-year sentence for drugging and raping multiple women across 4 states. Sharper took a plea deal which kept him out of the way of a potential 30-year sentence. It also avoids victims having to tell their stories again. His plea also can't be appealed. Both Cowboys continue their winning streak. Brian Jeffries has more on this and the latest injuries in the NFL.
Thanks a lot, Nick. I have plenty of highlights for you guys, but let's get started right with the kickoff of the NFL. Thursday night matchup between the Vikings and how about those Dallas Cowboys? As you can see here, Prescott takes the handoff. He gives the handoff to Zeke the Freak Elliott over the goal line, touchdown, and Dallas takes the lead 7-3 early in the first quarter. Vikings weren't going to lay down though, as Brian Robinson gets the strip fumble, and they take a rare turnover by Dak Prescott. The kicking situation's been weird in Minnesota. Let's see if they can get it right tonight. Yeah, they do. With the field goal, they take the lead 9-7, and we can see it's going to be a dirty one this week. But Dak Prescott swing pass to Dez Bryant. He gets in there, and Dallas continues to take the lead. They hold on to the lead. Sam Bradford's not done yet. Tosses it in to McKinnon, who gets across, and now we're going late in the fourth quarter. Minnesota has the opportunity to take the lead. Sam Bradford back for the tie. Can't make it. And Dallas holds on to keep their streak alive, 11 wins in a row. It's pretty remarkable. They haven't lost since their opener against the New York Giants. What isn't that remarkable, however, is injuries in the NFL. And they just can't seem to stop. The injury bug has hit Rob Gronkowski and the New England Patriots. Gronk, as he is affectionately called, suffered a back injury during last week's game against the Jets. You can see it. Tom Brady tries to air one out to him. Double coverage. He leans out. And this is where he got the apparent injury. He walked off under his own strength, but since that's been determined, he will need surgery. The procedure will call for an 8-week recovery period, which may end the star tight end season. In case you were wondering, the AFC Championship game is 7 weeks away, and the Super Bowl is only 9 weeks away. So I hope he gets well soon. Now, I promise you highlights, plenty of hoops actions around the league. Let's focus on the Warriors game last night. It took 2 overtimes to decide a winner in this thriller. James Harden came to play. The Beard dropped in 29 points, 15 rebounds, and 13 assists, looking like an MVP candidate here with the slash and the dunk. He might have got knocked in the face on that one, I'm sure. Ryan Anderson was chipping in, knocking down threes, and you see the assist here from James Harden. The Warriors are pretty good, though. They came in on a 12-game winning streak, and Steph and KD definitely got it going. With the pass here to KD with the jam. Check it out. In the end, however, they just didn't have enough. Draymond Green with the lay-in. Houston wouldn't let up, and Ryan Anderson came in clutch down the stretch in the fourth quarter. And then we have Eric Gordon with the crossover dribble to the runner in the lane. Double overtime, people. This one decided 39 points for KD, but it wasn't enough. And that's about all the time I have for sports this week. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks for that, Brian. Later in weather, we'll have the latest updates on the Tennessee wildfires.
And coming up in entertainment, a rap superstar is released from the hospital and a TV power couple welcomes their second child. Stay tuned for this and more after the break.
Did you know kids who play outdoors have healthier lungs?
Totally.
I did. Did you know that boys that play with dolls make better husbands?
My son has lots of dolls. But did you know terry cloth diapers breathe better?
I did.
It's totally true.
Oh, yeah.
Did you know that strollers have the right of way on a sidewalk?
Yes. Yep, I did. Did you guys Did you know that kids who eat breakfast have higher GPAs?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. That's actually what I was going to say.
Did you know babies should never touch silver? It's really bad for them.
I knew that.
Did you guys know that statistically friendly kids have more friends?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's obvious.
Did you know most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right seat at the right age and size. Visit safercar.gov/the right seat to make sure your child is protected.
I'm putting that on my blog.
I just put it in mine.
Welcome back to the show. San Diego City College is taking a stand against President-elect Donald Trump. Earlier this week, the Academic Senate confirmed it is vowing to make City College a safe haven for students who are part of the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, or DACA. Trump says he will not be honoring most of President Barack Obama's policies, including executive order. The Community College District Board must approve the measure next week.
A group of 20 co-workers in Tennessee have claimed the Powerball jackpot. The Tennessee 20 is a group of 20 co-workers and an auto part manufacturer in Portland. The group has been trying to win the lottery for 8 years. Now that they've won, they're taking home $12.7 million each.
San Diego City College hosted the visual audio monologue performance known as VAMP for the 5th year in a row. The storytelling showcase took place at the Seville Theater this Thursday night, where 7 students presented from 7 to 9 p.m. The purpose of this showcase is to let students express themselves with their life stories and experiences in front of a live audience with help of visual projections and audio effects. Also, VAMP is a monthly event at South Park and will have auditions next spring semester.
The Media Arts Center of San Diego will be hosting an event next Thursday to reveal the new San Diego Latino Film Festival poster. The event will take place in Barrio Logan at Border X Brewing on Thursday, December 8th at 5:30. The Media Arts Center has been hosting this film festival for the last 24 years. Continue with exciting news. Netflix has made many dreams come true. John Sanders has the scoop.
Thank you, Brooke, for that. If you are an avid Netflix watcher and you hate the drag of buffering, well, I have some great news for you. Great news, that is, if you have a membership. Netflix has now started offering offline streaming of your favorite shows and movies. In order to download and watch your shows offline, you must have an updated software for Android and iOS systems. Now, a show that might be on Netflix, I have to check myself, is That 70s Show, where the stars Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher have just welcomed in their second child into this world. After being married over a year now, they have now added a little boy to their family to go along with their daughter, 2-year-old Wyatt Isabel. The name of the newborn has not yet been provided, but we would like to say congratulations to the new addition. Now, from good news in the hospital to some troubling news. Kanye West, who was just released from the hospital earlier this week from UCLA, has been dealing with health problems. People close to Kanye say the breakdown happened to come around the time he buried his mother. Since the passing of his mother back in November of 2007, Kanye West has had difficulties in the month of November. Because of the unexpected health issues, Mr. West had to cancel the rest of the St. Pablo tour he was currently in the middle of. Although he is now released from the hospital, Kanye West will continue to seek treatment for his issues and will be monitored by doctors. Now, from acting to really acting, let's travel to Broadway, where we're talking about Hamilton. Yes, Hamilton has just broken another record while making the news at the same time. After hosting Vice Presidential-elect Mike Pence and providing him with the opening soliloquy for what they would like to see while he is in office, the cast of Hamilton have reeled in $3.3 million over the course of 8 showings during the week of Thanksgiving, setting a new record that was previously held by Wicked. The making of over $3 million within a week marks the first time that much money has been generated with fewer than 9 showings within a week. The accolade only adds to the already large trophy case that is on display from what the cast members have accomplished up to date. That is all that I have for you in entertainment. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, John, for those Hollywood updates. Looking for something fun to do over the holidays? We have a look at the San Diego Zoo's Jungle Bell celebrations, as well as Balboa Park's December Nights, coming up.
We are neighbors and best friends.
I love my sister.
My heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
Our family is no less than any other family.
Relief efforts continue in Tennessee as fires are still blazing. Luz Delia, what can you tell us about this tragic situation?
And before we get into the San Diego forecast, I want to tell you a little bit about what's been happening in Tennessee. Look at the devastating images behind me. Gallinsburg, Tennessee. The fires roared, all due to severe weather conditions. Now, this was a man-made fire. He has been arrested, and earlier in the week, rains came down, which provided some relief, but not enough. The damage had already been made. 11 dead, 700 buildings destroyed, and thousands evacuated. Now, fire officials say that at this time, they will be releasing some sort of relief efforts. Thousands of helping hands have been coming in from nearby colleges. Again, the severely dry weather conditions expanded this fire, winds blowing into Tennessee, and at this time, just people thankful that aid is flooding in from all over. Moving in, talking about heat and moving into the national weather forecast, we see that we have, although these might seem a little chilly, coming in from the northern parts of the United States, northern plains, we get chilly winds going up into Canada, into Alaska. Again, record highs, and in southeastern, southwestern United States, we have record highs for Florida and parts of the desert along the Mexican border. And now with tons of events happening in San Diego, you might be wondering, well, what should I wear out there? Am I going to be a little cold? I don't want to be too cold. I don't want to be too warm. And something that we're going to get a little bit into later on is December nights, which I won't get too into here, but it will be going on in Balboa Park. So what's the weather like for today and tomorrow? Well, you're in luck. Sun is out. So If you're going to Balboa Park during the day, you should be okay. I would recommend for you to definitely layer up at night, as we are seeing some lows. Moving into the full weekday forecast, we are looking at sunny Sunday, high of 70. It would be a great day to go out with the family, enjoy the outdoors, maybe go to the beach. We do see a low of 52. The clouds will be coming in starting on Sunday, and they will be here to stay until Tuesday. Again, the temperatures will be coming down later on in the week. Well, that's about all the time I have for weather. Nick and Brooke, will you go to December Nights? Back to you.
Well, I know I'm not going. What about you, Brooke?
I like to try to go every year. It's fun.
Balboa Park December Nights, the National Premier Holiday Festival, is here. It takes place for the 39th consecutive year tonight, from 3 to 11 p.m. Saturday, December 3rd, from noon to 11 p.m. Friends and families and the community are invited to come together for festive fun. It even includes complimentary admission to Balboa Park museums from 5 to 9 this evening. It is the largest free community festival in San Diego. It attracts more than 350,000 visitors to the park over 2 days to enjoy the season.
The world-famous San Diego Zoo begins their Jungle Bell celebration next week. On top of the usual furry creatures that live there, animal sculptures that will light up will be all throughout the pass. There will also be festive music, holiday treats, and live animal encounters. And of course, what would a holiday celebration be without Santa Claus himself? Spend some quality time with the family at the San Diego Zoo this holiday season. Zoo hours are from 9 a.m. until 8 p.m. beginning December 9th.
So what are you going to be doing this weekend, Brooke? Are you going to December Nights?
Yeah, I like to try to go every year and try all the different food and drinks and look at the lights and go to museums. You've never gone before? You should
I've
try
never
it.
gone before, but I'm not really interested in going either.
What about the zoo? I haven't tried that one yet. For their,
I've been to the zoo before. It was pretty fun.
Well, I mean, for their Christmas celebrations?
Well, that's all we have for this week's edition of Newscene.
Make sure to tune in next week and have a great weekend.